And a new season begins with Fragments of Silicon raining from the sky.
All right, welcome to a new season of Fragments of Silicon. Season 20, in fact. We
liked it so much. We did 20 of these so far. Well, 19 full. You all know, whatever.
It's the start of season 20.
Yes.
I get what you're saying.
The English language is very difficult. I just want y'all to know that.
Nobody counts it that way, though. It's like, nobody cares if you're actually through the season.
That's valid.
Particularities aside, we've been doing this for 20 seasons. It also means we've been doing this for over 10 years. Yep. Granted, the 10-year mark was half a year ago. Plus.
Yeah, our scheduling got a bit weird because there was a bit of time off, people shuffled, storms happened.
Yeah. Uprisings quelled.
Literally and figuratively.
Anyway, so with that in mind, let us begin another glorious season of this program. And we start with the Golics this time.
My sister came up for Memorial Day weekend for a day. That was nice. And at work, we're now on summer hours, so I get out early on Fridays, so that'll be good. Although, since I hang out with my friend after work on Fridays generally, and he doesn't get out early in the summer, it'll be interesting to find something to do for an hour or two.
I mean, that's why you have a Nintendo Switch, right?
Yeah.
Failing that, tiddlywinks.
Or a book. Anyway.
Dartboard.
Hogs.
So yeah, there's that. Due to a confluence of factors, aside from continuing to play Splatoon 3 and looking forward to Big Run and curious what they're going to do for the summer thing, since they showed off some of the visuals for it, but not what it actually is going to be yet. But in addition to that, on the Nintendo Switch Online SNES app, I've been playing through A Link to the Past, because it was one of the ones that was the thing to play to get some platinum coins on the app.
Ah, yes. That.
And it's been on my mind a little bit since Ogre and Naka have been going through it, so...
Right.
Yeah.
So, turns out that doing things more thoroughly... mostly doing things in order, but doing certain things a little bit out of order can make a pretty big difference, because if you do Thieves Town / Gargoyles Domain before Skull Woods, which just makes more sense to me geographically and flow-wise, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
After Thieves Town is when you gain access to the blacksmith's partner, and then after that you get the fourth bottle. And the Tempered Sword and having a fourth bottle make a big difference for Skull Woods.
I'd imagine.
Since the Tempered Sword can take out Wallmasters in one hit and Gibdos in like 3. And Mothula doesn't take... Or Mothula takes significant damage to it too, although Charged Tempered Sword is apparently of the damage category that Mothula is immune to due to shenanigans.
Yeah. Found that out the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still mostly trying to do things in order. I'm still debating whether or not I want to, because this is the actual Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
So I'm debating if I want to actually try and do Ice Island properly, or just deliberately go into Misery Mire first to get the goddamn Cane of Samari to say fuck the pushing the block from above puzzle.
I mean, worth it for that?
Potentially, it could be. That is a puzzle that they literally, for the Game Boy Advance port, they changed the puzzle because it was that annoying.
Yeah, I even had trouble because I originally played the game, the GBA port of the game, and I was like, "Oh my god, screw this puzzle." Granted, I was also like 9 or 10 at the time, so there is that being a factor.
Yeah, as a kid, I definitely, just due to me being bad at staying alive, kind of dipped into a bunch of dungeons in random orders or whatever, and I ended up doing most of Misery Mire before most of Ice Island, and yeah, I had the cane, so I was like, oh well, I can't find a block to put on this, but I have this handy dandy staff.
Yeah. And behold,
because that's what it is. It's a puzzle where on basement N, you have to weigh down a switch to open a door or something, but there is no block or anything to weigh it down with. So you have to drop a block down from from basement N-1. But getting able to drop a block down from basement N-1 requires going like all around that floor, and I think possibly the floor above it, to get the block to where you can actually push a block down from, for obnoxious red-blue color switch reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much what I got.
Well, that means you're up, Petty.
Alrighty, well, I was going to stream some on the break, and then things happened. Mostly a lot of getting distracted.
I had to say shiny objects were involved.
Yeah,
probably.
alright, look, fucker. But yeah.
Hey, I'm not the one who just self-admittedly got distracted into not doing streams that he promised the audience during the break.
Yes, I apologize. Part of that was also getting scheduling with Ogre sorted. He does have his new PC now, and yeah, he enjoys having a PC that's not 15 years old.
I'd imagine. And actually do things with that.
Yeah. And we got our pool set up, so we've been enjoying that. We've had some spurts where it's been warm enough to get in. It's still, my sister thinks it's cold. I don't, but I've also always been very, very warm. So when the pool temperature says it's like 76 on the thermometer, so I don't know, man. Let's see. As far as like other life things, we are switching from Dish Network to DirecTV for our TV service now, because DirecTV wants almost $200 a month, or we can switch to Dish Network for $130 and lose nothing. So we're switching to Dish Network.
You mean DirecTV, or is it the other way around?
Other way around. We were DirecTV customers, now we are switching to Dish.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been fun getting those set up, and then having to, the muscle memory of the buttons is all wrong. The channel numbers are wrong, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's going to be something to get used to, I suppose.
The only silver lining is I have a Google Mini on my desk, so I can just be like, hey, what's X channel on Dish Network? And it'll just give me the channel number, and then I just add it to my favorites list.
Mm.
Could you imagine that, dealing with this like 15 years ago?
I did deal with this 15 years ago.
Especially when my old cable provider, the sheet they gave us had the channel numbers. They were typoed for like 3 counties over.
Yeah,
So
these days I don't deal with cable in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents eventually gave up on DSL and just went, or whatever, satellite TV, and just went to friggin' YouTube TV. Of course, now they're having buffering issues and stuff, but that's probably mostly because the TV is old.
Yeah, we watch enough live sports that we still enjoy cable. And also we now have a 2 terabyte DVR. So, yeah, good luck filling that because we didn't even fill the 500 gig one in our DirecTV box. And these new receivers are cool because they have access like YouTube and Netflix, which kind of moot because each of our TVs have Chromecasts on them. But it's interesting in the fact that if I want to move my Chromecast to another TV, then I still can watch Netflix and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. And as far as gaming goes, I recently have procured a copy of Digimon World 3. So I may see about streaming that if I can get the damn emulator working. So stay tuned. Hopefully.
I forget how. I know that one has, you only get like a couple of guys.
That's
and
when
then
you have
all of them have, and then like all of them have branched evolutions to get different stuff.
Basically, yeah. You get a pack of 3 partners. It's a 1-on-1 battle format type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a whole bunch of branching evolutions and DNA digivolving. And after a certain point, you can pick whatever your start evolution is when you go into battle. So, like, your Guilmon can just start battle as a Growlmon when you unlock that.
Mm-hmm.
And
also,
so on.
somewhat renowned for having starters that do kind of have original lines, but the themes of the lines go exactly as far as fist, sword, and gun, and no further.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been something that once I work out the kinks, I probably just need to put a different core in RetroArch is probably my problem. I just need to give up on using, I think it's like Beetle HW and switch to one of the other ones. But that's something for future Petty to deal with. And yeah, other than that, not really a whole lot's been going on.
All right. Yes, it's my turn to step up to the plate.
Yep.
Let's see. Did the doctor's appointment during the break. Everything is going smoothly enough.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, dealing with stuff around the vehicle accidents, and that's about sorted out.
I guess as sorted as it can be for now.
Certain aspects, yes. Certain aspects, it's just it can take up to 2 years. Let's say that's the medical stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and a new vehicle has been secured, so hurrah for that. Let's see. In terms of games, I've been delving into Wheel of Katamari, Reroll plus Royal Reverie.
Oh, I love that game.
It's less annoying than the first one.
Yeah, I guess I know you don't have an Xbox, but if you ever get a chance to play Beautiful Katamari, I would advise it.
Like I've heard mixed things about the ones that come after this because like the original creator of Katamari left the series after We Love Katamari.
I guess the only complaint I have with Beautiful, at least, is it have the on-disc DLC, which theoretically, if it gets re-released, they'll just bundle that in, because it would be stupid to, not.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about it for my news. Which is fine and well enough. We got to get moving to the next segment anyway. Speaking of which, so we were originally supposed to launch season 20 by welcoming our good friend John, Manga Gamers, to the program, but his organization still doesn't have enough stuff to talk about, or at least for us to talk about. They're putting out complete collections of Higurashi and Umineko, but we've already talked about those when they were coming out.
Well, and there's also some stuff we haven't talked about that would get our channel nuked from orbit by Twitch if we brought up on air.
Well, it's like they've also got Steam Prison coming out, but I'm trying to remember if we actually talked about that. But just having the one visual novel is usually not enough.
Right.
Point is, we're going to try that again in August, and as a stopgap, we're heading back to the past. This time, we're going into a different avenue. We're going to be looking at the world of the companies trying to sell us things. In this case, an infomercial, and I don't mean that in the figurative sense. This was an actual infomercial that ran late night on television. I know this because I remember seeing it one day while getting ready for school.
What year was
this? 1995.
All right, yeah. If I saw it, I probably would not have remembered because I would have been like 3.
Right. Not the only infomercial involving a video game system from around this time.
Oh, we'll be getting to those.
Well, it was between this or the Atari Jaguar, and the coin toss picked the CDI. So the premise here is the CDI is being represented by a CDI salesman / repairman pitted against his brother, who's a VCR repairman. Look, this came out in the mid-90s, so the VCR was the primary entertainment device that wasn't a video game console, and that was kind of the CDI shtick. It was one of the multimedia platforms.
Right.
This is actually important context because that's why it's going up against not just the VCR or, other video game consoles like you'd expect it to. But anyway, so we present our tearing into of the Retro CDI infomercial, A Day with Sid, Ed, and CDI.
CDIs. And when are you going to grow up and sell something people use? What are you talking about? Oh,
that mid-90s tracking.
Hey, don't forget I'm also the one who repairs things under those warranties. Not if I get
extended warranties? How could I lose?
Admittedly, I have bought extended warranties, but that's more for, larger ticket items that we can't afford to replace otherwise.
And me, I'll sell CDI. The 4-in-1 home entertainment
Good luck.
system.
You're gonna need it.
Myself.
I can't help but feel like the names Sid and Sid and Ed together are supposed to kind of sound like CDI or something.
That's exactly probably the point. This is the
Timmy and his
90s.
mom. Seemed that loading a game on Dad's new CD-ROM computer was more than they bargained for.
Don't touch anything. Okay?
Remember DOS?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, this video. Look, this entire thing could be just 20 or so minutes of Leo DiCaprio pointing at the screen.
Ah, yes, the child accessed the extremely convenient delete hard drive button that definitely exists.
Apparently, he's also launching the nukes with that camera
Apparently.
framing.
It wasn't long after that Ed got the call from his dispatch.
I'd get a laser printer at least.
We've got a computer down
The retro version of Delete System 32.
2111 Pine Street.
For reference sake, there was at no point where a CDI was a adequate replacement for, well, anything, but least of which an actual computer.
Yeah, it was designed to do stuff like some of the fancier Laserdisc stuff does, like a multimedia thing.
Yeah, look, don't worry, they'll sell you on the features.
We ready?
Yeah, the computer is right over there.
Uh-huh.
But
Have you tried turning it off and on?
over there.
This goes in here, and this goes in here. There you go. All fixed.
Yeah, but
Oh boy, ads.
Also, I'm pretty sure that he's not just giving them this CDI.
it was the computer that was.
What's that? CDI.
Yeah, you do know there's the skip button right there.
Yeah, I just got it.
CDs to educational games, all through your television, all on its big screen, and all in full motion digital video.
But
Fuck you, Microsoft.
It helps keep Shorty over there
Timmy.
from trashing Dad's computer.
Look.
Hey, Michelangelo. You like
Look, can we get back to the cheesy commercial and not the infuriating for the future commercial?
I'm already running. Did we lose
Close it.
again?
And now, let's
Oh,
play.
I have to actually hit that.
Yeah.
Okay, but this isn't going to make my husband able to, like, use the word processor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our beloved family photos.
Also,
I know
you
this-
could get...
Hey. Check this out.
Once
Go
you've
ahead,
clocked in your time card, you're free to roam the plant, trying everything from creating your own colors in the custom crayon department to
Adam?
fixing the factory's machines.
Yeah.
Might
Oh,
add,
you were
it's a
trying to
great
say something.
interactive way to teach problem solving.
Guess
I
you
mean,
trailed
just look
off.
at this. You've got mixing and matching, sorting and solving.
Nope,
and
Yeah,
he's using a
it's also,
controller
you
that
can
was
get
sold
these programs
separately.
for the PC.
Recognition and quality control.
Hi.
You know,
Hello. Excuse me. Remember me? Hey, the CD-ROM.
Funny you should mention the CD-ROM.
Oh.
CDI here has everything you'd get in a CD-ROM, except
That's not the controller the system came with, though, yeah?
No,
and play.
no, that's like the second generation controller.
Yeah, I figured.
I mean, CDI plays educational titles. Music,
Oh, that is bullshit.
Four weddings and
No loading.
games. Oh, and the games.
Especially CD-ROM drives of the age.
CDI had a 1X
Chaos
drive
control.
for those of you who are wondering
You're
out
gonna
in
love this.
Twitch land. Go try,
Chaos control sound
setting your
familiar?
computer's disk drive to 1X and see what happens.
The year is
Your computer has
2071.
a
Aliens
disk
have
drive.
invaded the solar system, and the fate of the planet.
Wait,
rests
did you say the
upon
game was called Chaos Control?
Flying through the
Yes.
skyline,
Yes.
shooting alien invaders. But you don't
It's
get
like
that
Microcosm,
easy. If by chance
but
you manage to
worse.
live through this, you've got 3 more missions to keep you busy. So you keep pushing ahead, firing away at everything in your path. But they're attacking from below. They're coming from the sides.
Yeah,
You're blasting
keep in mind that
fighting for
they're
liberty.
basically shooting up against the green screen here
We're just sitting there.
that has...
Oh. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sure my husband would find this fascinating, but
I'm sure there's some
I think I would like
commentary
to
about the
try.
sexual dynamics of the 90s to be made here, but
Yeah.
they're probably not the
You know,
do it.
he bought the CD-ROM, and he has all his favorite golf games on it. And
That was the wiser investment, by the
Palm
way.
Springs Golf. Check
Which
it out.
one?
The entire game is played against real footage from 18 of the most recognized holes in Palm Springs. Every
Yeah,
shot
you
is
know
unique.
what you don't have here?
Look it, you're in the
Doom.
rough. Too far, you're in the traps.
Indeed.
Slice it, and you're swimming.
You don't need a CD-ROM for
Yes,
Doom,
the
though.
biggest selling point has to be that
He could play like a season
No,
without having to dress like one.
Timmy,
Oh, don't
but there's a,
worry, it's
you know,
CDI.
there was a lot you could do with a CD-ROM in 1995.
Why not try it on?
Another ad to skip. Don't forget to hit the skip button.
This here optional roller controller. Huh?
You see,
Do you have an actual ad blocker on your thing, too?
Not on Discord.
I mean, CDI has games to teach spelling. There's games to teach grammar.
All right, let's get into the Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstein Bears debate.
No,
With Berenstain
let's
Bears, the play at the
don't.
fair, kids have to first learn responsible behavior.
Fair enough.
During the house, kids are learning mathematics. And at Lizzie's tea party,
Oh, great, now I'm desynced from you.
You know, the things you use throughout your
Right.
life.
Are you paused?
Yes.
Our computer has a CD, which...
What it all comes down to is this.
All right, hopefully this
Computers
thing's
are great for computer kinds of things, but let's face it, computer makes for a very fragile, not to mention expensive game machine. Well, that's where CDI comes in. It's everything you use your CD-ROM
CDI
for.
Okay, that's
I
kind
guess
of
the
true, yes,
CDI
but I presume that they were using the computer for also computer things.
All through your television,
Well,
all
yeah,
with
it's
CD
like-
quality surround sound, all full screen, and all in full motion
You know,
digital
you
video.
were buying the computer to do
So simple,
your
anyone can use
taxes.
it, which keeps you
as well.
Yeah.
computer unsupervised.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. No need to thank
Like,
me.
this isn't really making the argument to, replacing Microsoft
While my
Word.
mission in life was to introduce people to the wonders of CDI, Ed's mission was to make as much while doing as little as possible.
The American dream.
Yeah.
Pick it up and go.
Oh, the first
Failing
one.
that,
The Kathy Smith work
sex.
ethic, you can work out as much as you want without having to drag Timmy here to the gym.
You tailor your training to your individual goals. Watch this. See that? It even keeps your program on file. You can change pace in the middle of a workout.
Yeah, this is not a significant upgrade from, like, Jane Fonda's workout VHS.
Yeah.
Aeroboxing, why, you'll be sweating with the
Like, if those-
sveltest in
Which,
no
again,
time.
that's the kind of thing that the system was actually, okay at.
Stay in shape.
Uh-huh.
Right, I'm just saying,
Saves time and money. It also keeps
like-
you within comfortable reach of your fridge.
What the hell?
they're trying to sell you on the concept itself. Not how is this better than, buying a tape that cost about $20.
Pictures available on CDI.
Yeah.
This was one of the earlier games that actually had CDs, isn't it? Systems, rather?
Like something you can play with your husband
yes.
and friends.
Yeah.
The live-action interactive
I
version of the
believe
board
the
game Clue.
PlayStation was a
Actually,
year
I
or
was
two away.
thinking about...
The race
1995, the PlayStation was on the horizon. It depends on the region.
The
Yeah.
educational children's game, Sticky Bear Math.
But regardless, the PlayStation was not here
Jeopardy?
yet when this came out.
I thought you'd never ask.
Ah, ready to pit wits with Alex himself, eh?
You bet.
Oh God, Jeopardy.
Is Jeopardy. Let's put the dog
At
back on
5
board.
frames per second.
About American history?
That's generous. You can see that they're not even staying on there long because, oh good God.
No.
Who, first president of the United States?
Yeah.
Who's George Washington? Yes, Timmy! Good job.
It would not have been that fast to answer.
Oh God.
Since
no.
you're still using it.
Day.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Work. You might want to try it sometime. You got a little something.
Shit that didn't
I make
happen.
excuses for him, but Ed was born 20 minutes after me, and he's been late ever since.
Oh what? They're twins.
So they're supposed to be twins? I'm like, somebody should inform
Fraternal
one of them's
twins don't
headline.
always look that similar. But
Yeah, I mean, I am a fraternal twin, but yeah. Granted, my sister and I are only 30 seconds apart, but that's the magic of the C-section.
A video game unit and a CD player, all in one.
Jack of all trades, master of nothing.
Holy fucking God!
Titles like the cinematic adventure Burn
8
Cycle.
payments of
There are
$62?
educational like Berenstain
You just
Bears.
let, and people give the 3DO shits.
Gabriel's Explorer 1, or in-depth reference works like Compton's interactive
Like, I guess
encyclopedia.
maybe if you had a computer only for playing games, it might be kind of comparable.
No, because
But
this is
mostly
also the
not.
year. Keep in mind, this is trying to sell itself in 1995, so Windows 95 is on the horizon.
And also, you
Yeah.
know, you still have to pony up for all the software. It didn't come with a package, right? my knowledge.
What is this, Jax? What is this sax music here?
I don't know.
Are they
royalty free.
slaughtering it?
I'm thinking it's getting bit crushed by being on a VHS. It could not have sounded this bad.
Like, it's not necessarily because it's royalty free.
Compton's Encyclopedia.
Wow.
The animated adventure Space Ace. The thrill ride Chaos Control. The kids' classic Berenstain Bears.
I guess for 6 payments of $90, you better be getting some software.
Yeah.
Contemporary artists. A $265 software value included at no additional charge when you buy now. Call this number now to receive the Magnavox CDI player, complete with digital video cartridge.
Do you remember that a CDI player was going for $500? That was more than that was about the same price as the PlayStation and the Saturn combined.
Yeah.
And people, I hope people do not wonder why this system absolutely flopped.
Game Machine DOA.
I mean,
it's nice that they'll admit that their game machine was DOA.
Yeah, maybe a bit too brutally honest there.
It's the greatest journey I've ever been on. It's not just about
the wake up call from CDI Sid.
Hey, Dwayne.
On the main street.
You're gonna get some new games for this thing.
I don't know.
What are they even playing?
Okay, this room is too clean.
Yeah.
I played this in my sleep. Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be a Genesis? Or a Jaguar, maybe?
No!
We are not actually going to identify that system so we don't get sued.
Why are you blaming me?
What do you think?
Like,
Okay, the thing that it looks kind of like is a Genesis.
Yeah.
I wish. My dad.
But the
it's
controller
legally
didn't
distinct.
look like one.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, no, the controller looked like a blue Super Nintendo controller more than that.
And this was just a warning.
Hey, Ed.
The fuck?
I don't even know what the fuck is going on at this point.
Over at 219er South.
They're trying to convince you that a CDI is a replacement for an actual games console.
Yeah.
And they will fail spectacularly.
Yeah, the first one with the Thermometer Sun, those were mostly games that this doesn't suck at. And it still doesn't mean it was good.
DOA, huh?
Yeah.
Can you fix it?
Hey, that's the title of the segment.
All right. Okay, this goes in here, this in here.
Wait, it's not Dead on Arrival.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess it went on his arrival.
This, it's a CDI. It does the work of a VCR, a CD player, a game machine, and a CD-ROM all in one.
Also, it does not do the specific job of a VCR.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Go out
thinking.
on a limb and say, watch movies.
It can play recorded videos as long as they're recorded on CDI format discs.
Fix the machine so we can get back to our game.
I thought you felt
That's how it would actually go. Okay, that guy is about to murder these kids in their sleep.
Who says he's gonna wait for sleep, brother?
You boys think you're
Yeah,
man enough?
why is he staring so intensely? Trying to sell Burn Cycle.
Software thief. You ran into a little problem. Someone finds out what you're up to, and now you're running around with a cyber virus in your skull. And unless you can figure out how to get it out in the next 120 minutes,
Mid-90s cyberpunk.
Now, there was a time period where these graphics weren't terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, keep in mind, these aren't really graphics. They're pre-rendered stuff that they were green screened against.
No, I mean the graphics parts and the specifically the computer animation.
Honestly, they look kind of like bad Sega, Sega CD.
It looks better than the Sega CD. Like Sega CD had a shit color depth.
Perhaps another one for Pops. Here it is. Chaos Control.
Yeah.
He is really trying to sell the fuck out of Chaos Control.
By these planetary probe stealing, earth marauding,
like,
blow you to smithereens without
somebody at Philips thought this was their killer app, which I guess, I mean, it's about the best they got, I guess.
It looks pretty good for all things considered. And if you have a reasonably responsible aiming mechanism, it might be something that the game could actually kind of handle.
Fellas, ready for something else? Yeah. We still have more than 200 titles.
I mean,
let's see what we have here.
It's still just basically Star Wars Rebel Assault.
Here it is.
Look.
Space Ace. Now, assuming you boys can keep up, tell me this isn't
a bad knockoff of a Star Wars game is still better.
Better than Space Ace.
Than a lot of other things on.
Now, you see here, fellas, what you got. Where else can you find a full
yes, action-packed game Space Ace, where a thing will flash, and then you have to guess which button to press to activate.
This is what happens when you can't even get the rights to Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
You have to go with discount Dragon's Lair.
I've ever been on. It's not just
all
about
of the
big
ads,
moments, but also this moment.
Here's an incredibly simple machine, easy to set up, easy to use, playing everything from interactive titles to music videos to audio CDs.
Oh man, music videos.
Self-contained system that just
I think I'll go buy a CDI.
Once again, they were trying to sell themselves as the preeminent multimedia device.
Sticky bear math for your little brother. Palm Springs.
Like, it's kind of showing in the games that they're showing.
Yeah, if they're making this as one big half-hour thing, you'd want them to advertise different games in each segment. Not the same ones.
The same type.
Also, I'm pretty sure fucking Sid here is doing some corporate malpractice by listening in on his brother's repair calls and going to the
Look,
place
the amount of
before he
crying
gets
is
there
here.
to sell shit.
Yeah.
Compact Disc Interactive has to offer, it's clear why CDI is CD for your TV. With CDI, you'll experience full-motion digital video with compact disc sound as big as your own television. CDI does the work of a CD-ROM, a VCR, a video game unit, and a CD player, all in one. And it's yours for just $8.
Yeah, I'm disputing this.
Yeah. Oh god, and $20 shipping and handling? Fuck.
There are educational discs like Berenstain Bears.
That's the 90s for you.
I know, but holy god.
In the days before Amazon Prime.
And movies like Four Weddings and a Funeral with new releases.
As I said, they didn't have Encarta. I think Encarta was being invented this year for Windows 95, in fact. So they had to.
Possibly offers over 200 titles with new releases every month.
I mean, Encarta was made by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So it would have, it probably would have been this year. It could have been for Windows 3.1.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, it's, they couldn't use Encarta, so they got Compton's.
Yeah.
I think 3DO might have gotten Broilers.
Probably.
God, I remember way too much about encyclopedia discs of the 90s.
Yeah.
Blockbuster movie and the music CD share.
I like how they didn't even name the Blockbuster movie.
A $265 software value included at no additional charge when you buy now.
Did the
I remember it.
even come to fruition?
With digital video cartridge,
Yeah.
game
I knew a family that had a CDI, and their Blockbuster movie was Top Gun, which in fairness was a Blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
During this limited time offer and find out how
All right, let me get my Amex card ready for this.
A VCR's last meal.
Okay, yes, VCR's eating tapes is a very real issue. But that won't make the Philips CDI actually play a goddamn VHS.
Well, the actual VCR killer came a few years later. Or might have been coming out about now. I don't remember exactly when DVDs hit the market. But it wasn't.
A while.
We have to replace one
Yeah.
more movie. That thing
And also, it took a while for DVDs to overtake VCRs.
Let's just try and resurrect this thing one more
Also,
meanwhile,
tapes getting eaten is usually more the tape's problem than the player's problem.
Yeah, it's also I'd like to point out once again that this was 1995, not 1985. The fuck are you doing with an extended warranty on your VCR?
Being a parent is the greatest journey I've
I mean,
like
not wanting it to
VCRs
get
are.
broken.
He's on CDI, which of course.
Here's the thing: VCRs are a lot cheaper now.
Yeah. You could probably
Like to the point where
get a decent VCR for $75.
Yeah, to the point where if a VCR breaks down, you're getting a new one. You're not trying to fix the old one.
Not new. Not Ed. Sid.
I don't know about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely like disturbingly unethical business practices.
Look, he's about to turn into the cable guy.
Basically.
What exactly do you mean, Sid? All fixed. What is...
It's the new way to watch
movies. Look,
you kids like
Ed is about to get punched out.
We have a collection of hundreds of VHS tapes. This thing can't do shit for those.
CDI.
It's also, you want to record the game. The
that's
CDI
true.
is kind of
Yeah,
that's true. The R in VCR isn't just a
one of the dozens of motion pictures.
Yeah,
isn't just
it's
a
a reason
relic.
why
They were actually used to record stuff.
Yeah, it's why VCR hung around till the mid 2000s when DVR became a thing.
Yeah.
You just hit play.
Yeah, because DVD burning was never something that was economical to put into a
we have rice
player.
Right. Better yet, why watch a movie now? I mean, it's not like a CD has the life expectancy of a video cassette, if you know what I mean.
This is true.
How about something more?
It's just not all that long.
Boxing-ish.
Right. Disc run is an actual problem.
Don't watch a movie or video. Play a game. Okay, that's not selling us on the fact that this works as a VCR.
Well, keep in mind, this is also the 9 days of F&B. You're playing a movie. That is also a video game.
He'd lost his best customer, and this would prove to be the final straw.
I'm like...
I got a really good feeling for this. Hey.
Wow, that is like... Is that even frames per second, my guy?
No.
I think that's seconds per frame.
Also, I guarantee you, this is not how games are actually played. God. What did he have? Just like 10 games?
Clue. Everyone likes Clue, but this isn't just.
Like, also, I'm going to point out that there's a few games that aren't being shown here that you'd probably be expecting to see.
We did not actually ask Nintendo for permission to use their games in advertising.
Or look at this. Scrutinize the rooms to the last detail to help you solve the killing.
Ah, yes. All of the details of the room that are relevant in the game of Clue.
Yeah. Or you could just go play the PC version.
A nasty subject like homicide wound up.
Yeah, or you could play Clue, the VCR game.
Here's an interactive adventure game that combines the pace of a classic arcade game with all the cinematics and theatrics of a full-length movie. You see, you had a little incident while stealing some software.
I'm just waiting for one of the retro companies that we know to re-release Burn Cycle.
Like, no, but like, this is not, aside from disturbingly unethical business practices, not an inherently terrible setup for an advertisement for a multimedia thing. You bring it to different people who could use it, and you show them different things that are good for the different people. But this guy only has like 5 things to advertise.
Well, yeah, that's where I'm disputing that this is not being terrible, because he's
no. The actual thing is, I mean, the concept of advertising it by having a guy go to different places and show different people what it could do for them isn't bad, but you want it to be able to do different things for the different people.
Then again, none of the customers here can tell Ed and Sid apart, even though, dear God,
they don't actually look that similar.
Yeah, it's like, look, Sid needs to invest in some hair plugs for Ed. Like, look, that is asking me to care way too much about these characters.
Mad Dog McCree, you know, the Old West, you and your trusty
Oh, God.
everywhere you look.
Mad Dog McCree. Speaking of things that we need to insult on this program at some point.
No.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where, no, you did not have good aiming control.
I'm like, you did in the arcade.
Maybe it was the interactivity.
Right, but
Which is where,
not on this version.
Video and CD sound.
Really?
Being a parent is the greatest journey I've ever been on. It's not just about the big...
But now I have a partner. Better late than never.
Now that you know what Compact Disc Interactive has to offer, it's clear why CDI is CD for your TV. With CDI, you'll experience full motion digital...
They only had the one actual commercial, so they're going to... also, it's an infomercial. This is what infomercials do.
I am aware.
I know you're aware, but keep in mind, people who are watching this may not...
Yeah, there's a reason infomercials went out of style.
Yeah. I mean,
or at least infomercials that are actually just infomercials and not pretending to be news programs aired at stupid hours on networks that don't have anything better to do.
Like 4 weddings and a funeral with new releases every month. Plus,
oh boy! Like, no wait, that was an actual title.
Yeah.
Also, 4 weddings and a funeral would have been a big bet in 1995. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was a surprisingly huge movie.
I mean, fair, but also, you know...
I mean, it's not something I...
Yeah.
You know, it's something that the people who could actually appreciate the shitty jazz music would be into.
You're an ass. I love...
Order the Magnavox CDI player now, and you'll also get 6 pieces of incredible software included free with your purchase. Compton's Encyclopedia.
Look, we've been through this. These are not great software titles.
Chaos Control. The kids' classic Berenstain Bears, a blockbuster movie, and the music CD Shared Vision. The songs of the Beatles is sung by contemporary artists. A $265
oh boy, not even the Beatles. The Beatles cover.
Yeah, the Beatles cover album. I'm like, yeah, that I'm sure some people might be interested. I mean, it's not like they had good voices that were like part of the appeal or anything.
Yeah.
CDI's best titles, all for just 8 payments of only $62.50. Call during this limited time offer and find out how easy, versatile, and inexpensive CDI can be.
Yeah, I'm like 8 payments of $62. No.
Not no, but fuck no. Alrighty, I do believe we are at the end of this.
Yes. Like, yeah, so that was certainly something. Like, honestly, I think the Jaguar infomercial would have been funnier. But this is still important because, you know...
But did the Jaguar one have tons of unethical business practices for me to bitch about?
Probably.
Yes, actually. Just very different.
Oh,
like,
okay, then.
Also, that had more 90s tune to it. That kind of shows you, like, you know, keep in mind, this is sort of tailored for a different audience. You know, this wasn't being sold to your typical video gamer of the 90s.
Yeah.
Look,
we've kind of already... to your parents or, you know...
Yeah.
The older people who'd be up watching a late night infomercial.
Or, you know, it's replacing literally Timmy's computer. You know, like, we've been through what the 90s thought gamers were. You know, just, you know, go back to our Game Pro TV episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was none of that in this video. Like, and indeed, like, there were, like, they didn't show off any of the Zelda games. Hotel Mario wasn't there.
Because Nintendo would have burned their entire company to the ground.
But here's the thing. Those were actually in, not this one, but a version of this. Because I remember seeing those games in that infomercial. yeah, not surprising that they would have different versions of the same infomercial.
Yeah.
They probably rotated games in and out.
Yeah, games, software. Because how long did the
Yeah.
CDI live for? It was like 4 or 5 years, wasn't it?
There's something like that. The thing is, like, the CDI isn't very well tracked. Because, that's the other side of that multimedia fence.
Yeah.
I'm like,
most of the later half of it was basically a karaoke machine.
Also porn.
Yes, there was much of porn.
Yeah, especially in its later years. I know this because I remember seeing CDI discs porn discs being advertised in Amsterdam in like 1998. So, once again, like, I don't think the CDI had any copy protection. It's like the 3DO. Like, the 3DO has a whole bunch of porny stuff that doesn't get a lot of mention because YouTube will demonetize it.
Yep.
It's also like, it's trying to make the argument that it's the interactive replacement to all your devices, but didn't really have an answer to, what if I want to, write a novel?
What if I wanted to record the big game while I'm out?
Yeah, or at the very least, Frasier.
Oh, God.
I mean, you get my point.
Yeah.
Also keep in mind, like, we're also in 1995. And they're still pounding down on the multimedia angle.
Yeah.
Like, multimedia, like, isn't dead, but it's about to have its lunch taken by another platform.
Yeah. Sony is about to rock up hard.
No. I'm talking specifically multimedia. This is a segue. Because, as previously mentioned, this is also the year a thing called Windows 95 came out. So, next time when we do one of these, we're going to look at how Microsoft presented Windows 95 to new users.
And that was the first. That was one of the first ones that really had multimedia integration as a core feature.
Yes, I mean, its image was completely built off of that, and Microsoft got a couple of friends to show us how things work.
Fuck off, Adam.
I'm like, it's
I know
coming.
You're proud of that, but go fuck yourself.
I am very proud of that. Especially since I just came up with it. I'm like, look, I have wit and spontaneity on my side. Anyway, we should probably go to the next segment here.
Yeah. I could probably hit the button. I'm bad at my job. It's fine.
All right, so welcome to the topic of discussion. So this week we are talking about the original Super Mario Land, mainly because Super Mario Land 1 finally got added to the Nintendo Switch Online service, alongside Alleyway and Baseball, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, yeah, 3 Game Boy launch titles. No, what was it? Golf or tennis? Like, it was one of the Game Boy sports games. That's less important than Super Mario Land. Like, yeah, anyway, Nintendo did this to acknowledge the 30th anniversary, the 35th anniversary of the Game Boy that we talked about last season. Like, so in lieu of other stuff to talk about, because that's all coming tomorrow, apparently.
Yeah.
You know, the original Super Mario Land. So we've postulated about this as part of other segments before, but to get really in depth with it is a bit ironic, because Super Mario Land is probably the shortest Super Mario game out there. I mean, seriously, you can beat it within about, I'd say, half an hour to 45 minutes if you're even moderately skilled at platformers.
Something like that,
like, you know, once again, like, you know, we've waxed philosophical about the little differences in all of the Mario canonicity that makes this game.
Mario feels like he's on ice.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that.
I'm like,
Mario canon is slippery.
I'm like, I see what you did there. Yeah. And once again, like, it's not like people were holding Mario's feet to the fire in what it should be in goddamn 1989. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but Mario is pretty versatile, and this is before he started a 100,000 spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, it's more. Also, once again, we had Super Mario USA, Doki Doki Panic, Super Mario Brothers 2. So what a Mario game was a lot less defined to Western audiences than what they were to Japanese audiences. Because,
I mean, he was still the jump man, but...
Yeah, but here's the thing. Super Mario USA didn't get released in Japan until 1992. Mm-hmm. So, the Japanese player's perspective here would have been Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, you know, the actual Super Mario Brothers 2 for the Famicom disk system, and then Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3. So this is conforming to that idea, vaguely. But you know, as we, you know, like I said, we have covered this game before, so details are going to be repeated. But you know, this was the brainchild of Gunpei Yokoi's R&D1 team. That's why you get things like, instead of the actual Invincibility Star music, you get the can-can. And, you know, you get no Mario tunes at all. Because Koji Kondo, Mario's usual composer, didn't work on this game. This was the product of Hip Tanaka, who was R&D1's regular composer. Like, he's the guy who did Kid Icarus, Metroid, whole bunch of stuff for the R&D1 segment of Nintendo. And this was no exception. So that's why the game sounds different. You know, so on and so forth. But tying everything back together, this game also displays a lot of launch title pockmarks. You know, especially for hardware as compromised as the Game Boy is. You know, once again, you know, we talked about this. Since this is a launch title, they were erring on the side of conservatism in regards to Mario Sprite, really everything here. You know, because everything's in teeny-weeny eye-strain-o vision. Doubly so when you consider the Game Boy's awful, awful screen. I still remember the eye strain.
I still feel it to this day.
Well, that's more because I look at monitors way too much. Like, but it's also been postulated that this is the worst Super Mario game. Like, which is a bit of a loaded phrase, I think. Because
it's the most apples and oranges Mario game that is a platformer.
Once again, that depends on if you want to put Doki Doki Mario into the equation or not. Like, because that was literally a different game that was reskinned to be Mario.
Okay, fair. It's the second most at best.
Yeah. I'm like, and yeah, I do think that colors the conversation a lot. Not all of it, because, some of it is, like, Mario just does not feel like Mario.
Oh, God, no.
Like, put it to you this way. EAD would not have ever done Mario's, he drops like a fucking stone.
Oh, God, yeah. Especially if you just accidentally run off an edge without jumping, you just snap to the ground.
Like, he's more akin to, say, Simon Belmont here than actual Mario.
I mean, no, Simon Belmont's thing isn't ridiculous gravity. It's being completely locked into a jump arc, and Mario can still adjust his angle in air.
I suppose that is true.
Well, though?
Yeah. It's like, in the sense that, yeah, it's there, but ugh.
But you don't have tons of knockback, and you don't have totally fixed jump arcs from the start.
Fair enough.
It's kind of slipped there, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty sure that's not supposed to happen.
Nah. There are a lot of things in this that shouldn't happen. Oh, hi, Bowser. I mean, not Bowser.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a key giveaway of where R&D 1 was with this game. Like, they were making a Game Boy approximation of a Super Mario Brothers 1. That's why this game looks like this. Like, it looks like Super Mario Brothers, but not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also
like even the aesthetic wasn't really nailed down at that point.
That's my point. It's like, but here's the thing: people didn't really complain about it. And certainly not as much as they complained about, say, Zelda 2 or Castlevania 2. Like, I think that needs to be acknowledged. Like, here's the thing: like, Mario never changed up itself as much as Zelda or Castlevania did in the NES era. Like, even Doki Doki Panic, it's still a platform. And
yeah,
here,
they didn't like change the. I mean,
well,
I suppose the fact that you can't kill things by jumping on them is a rather drastic change for a Mario game.
Yeah,
but they didn't literally change the primary direction of play.
Well, here's one of the secrets about Doki Doki Mario. They changed the game physics to be more Mario-like. Like, the biggest thing is running. In Doki Doki Panic, you can't run in that game. And in Super Mario USA, you can. It's something that completely changes the game.
And it's the standard after jumping and landing on the ground, you run fast.
Yeah. Like,
good old fucking Ratchet scrolling, how I do not miss you.
Yeah. There's a special place in hell for Ratchet scrolling.
I mean, I understand that it is to some extent a programming necessity, but...
especially for the limited memory of the Game Boy, but yes.
Yep. But anyway, getting back to the core thesis here. Is Super Mario Land the worst Super Mario? I'm going to say yes, but that's me. But that's less to do with this game's overall quality. Like, I think its biggest sins are its wonky physics and its launch. Its launch era jank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is not the most polished Mario game. But
now, are you including the lost levels in that?
Yes, because
backwards warps and poison mushrooms and all.
Well, that's because that was all designed, though. It's like here's the thing that people forget: like Super Mario Brothers 2 or Super Mario Brothers for Super Players, as it was called on the Game Boy Color. They actually put that in the Game Boy Color version of Super Mario Brothers. By the way, that's what that game was for. It was for the people who mastered Super Mario Brothers. It was for the speedrunners of the era. It's the people who would go on to make Kaizo Mario and shit like that. It's intentionally dickish to be hard for the master players. Like, that is something that gets lost in the discussion of the lost levels all the fucking time.
Yeah, it was designed for people who literally knew the base game like the back of their hand.
Yeah. I'm like, Super Mario Land here is pretty much the diametric opposite here. Because even in spite of the jank, in spite of the cheap deaths, this is still among the easiest Mario games to exist. Because even though Petty's dying a lot here, one-ups are plentiful.
Oh god, the side-scrolling level.
Yep.
Hi, C-Pop. Oh, no, wait, it was Marine Pop, wasn't it?
Yeah. Marine Pop and Sky Pop. A.k.a. the real most divisive part of Super Mario Land back in the day.
I mean, not that let's mix it up with a side-scrolling shooter was unheard of at this point.
Right, I mean, like, Kid Icarus did it, for example. It's just, it's something that Mario hadn't done to this point. But Shigeru Miyamoto is on record saying that he did want to add shmup levels to the original Super Mario Brothers, was hampered by the limitations of the Famicom.
Because keep in mind, the original Super Mario was a test on what you could do with a pure, basic SNES cart. Super Mario Brothers is actually the ultimate form of the stock NES, but that is something for another day. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, these were thrown in to, add variety to the mix. I'm like, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that these stages were a failure. Just on every level. Maybe a controversial take.
I don't know. I think mixing up the gameplay isn't that bad. You don't have to worry about your jumping physics when you're in a submarine.
True, but it's just as shmup stages, these are really boring.
Yeah, they are.
That's fair.
And I think that's why we didn't see this again. Because I'll note they didn't bring back the shmup levels for Land 2 or Land 3, Wario Land. This is the only Mario game where we get R-type Mario.
I think I broke it.
No, you kill Dragon Zamasu and you still have to go down and break those blocks and hit the switch.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Petty. That's something 9-year-old me didn't get at first either.
Honestly, they were shaded so closely to the other ones. I thought they were just regular blocks, and the blocks were supposed to move.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why it. Yeah. Once again, that's a Game Boy problem right there.
Yeah.
Not just because you're only working with 4 shades of gray. It's because once again everything's so fucking small.
I am accidentally real good at getting that 3. Also say hi to the Moai head.
It still amuses me exactly how baby's first the Amidakuji bonus game is.
Yeah, this is also the first time we got a bonus game in Mario. Proper. Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario USA had it, but once again, that depends on your definition of, is that a real Mario game? I know
like how
there's a few
turn into fucking bombs.
Yep. Look, the development team just had a bunch of random ideas and a bunch of vacation slides and a shit ton of LSD, which is pretty standard for a Mario game.
Yeah, also pretty standard for time period, but yes.
Cocaine was more in vogue.
Depends on where you were at, but yeah. Anyway, before we get demonetized.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, anyway, so I think that covers most things about Super Mario Land. Like I said, we could go into the deep details, but I suppose the final thing is to mention the Super Bowl. It's like, it's not just, it's not the Fire Flower, but different. Like, this is its own distinct power.
I mean, it is still a projectile that initially fires diagonally downwards, but instead of the Super Ball, which kind of bounces on the ground a few times as it goes forward, the Super Ball actually fairly dramatically continues bouncing at 90-degree angles.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I think that'll about draw this episode to a close. So, welcome to Season 20. Coming up on the week ahead. First of all, we have the season premiere of MSP happening in about, let's say, half an hour.
Bold prediction there.
45 minutes then. At any rate, no Friday show this week. So, hurrah for that, just as well, because the family is making an extended stay here this week. Ugh. Anyway, coming up on the Sunday reviews, we have impressions for Topak Battle, reviews for Uramangi Generation, Gravity Badgers, and Wizardry, Proving Ground of the Mad Overlord. So, until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.